Development Advisory Board to order. Take roll call by seeing who's present. Next order of business is the approval of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read over last month's minutes? Any additions or corrections? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes as printed? I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes as printed. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is the public hearing number 2 for the Consolidated Plan and Action Plan. This time I open the public hearing. Is there any comment from staff?
I'll just give you a brief on kind of what you have. Because we did the affirmatively furthering fair housing report this year, part of the requirement in doing that with the region was that we also put our consolidated plan on the same timeline as the region, which meant that we had to do a revision to our consolidated plan. So I did the revision to the consolidated plan. All the statistics and description of the statistics remained the same. Essentially what I did was I cleaned up details throughout the report, and I added in section MA 50 the description of strategic opportunities. I added in the affirmatively furthering fair housing information. So that's what's different about the consolidated plan, just so that you know what you've got there. Then in the year that you do the consolidated plan, the annual action plan is actually a piece of that. It's at the end of the consolidated plan, so it's all one document. So the last section, starting with AP 15, expected resources, that's this year's plan of what we're going to be doing. So essentially what I did was for the annual allocation, I just projected that we would be getting the same amount that we got this year. And I looked at our spending pattern currently and to see how much we might have as funds from this year to carry to next year. And so that's what the prior year resources are. And I based the budget then on $387,704. So that was my thought process. Whether we'll have that $77,000 left over just depends on how many people apply to have home repairs done. And we have seen no action so far on the institutional rehab, so those monies, we allocated 20,000 of that out of that pool to go toward home ownership because we're seeing a surge in home ownership, which is great.
The fiscal year ends at?
The fiscal year for us ends June 30th.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And so this new plan will start July 1. So that's pretty much my description of the plan. Our plan for next year is fairly simple. I really kept it kind of detailed, and right inside the cover of the consolidated plan is the annual action plan synopsis. So that might be easiest. Would you guys like a copy? Would you like a copy, Margaret?
Do you mind?
No, not at all. I'll share with Michelle.
The 94 page, I didn't print it off because it was 94 pages.
I get it. There you go.
But I did print it. Thank you so much. Okay. The
So
synopsis,
that's
yeah.
the synopsis. So with the synopsis, basically the administration section is 20% of our budget. It's a cap item, and so that pays my salary, 10% of the clerk, 4 hours of Michelle. Not very much, and our basic operating costs, which is, doing the legal ads and other requirements, the audit that we have to have done and so forth. The public service agencies section, we discussed the last discussion, the last time we had our meeting. And so that's the federal government caps that at 15% of the budget. So we disperse those monies according to the way that we described last meeting. Home repair, I put $124,959 into home repair, and then a separate $50,000 into a block-specific program, which we had discussed prior, as a way to stimulate repairs within a community. So we're going to be doing that up in the northeast quadrant of the city, because that is one section where it could use a little stimulation, and it also could use the funds. 83% of the people in that section qualify as low moderate income. So we're still at the point where we haven't designated the specific block, but I have worked with the city GIS guy. Julie actually worked with him. I tagged along. And he developed a map that shows us the owner-occupied housing and rental housing, and up in that section there is a lot of rental housing, and so we want to make sure that the block and streets that we target are ones that are more owner-occupied. So that's my next focus, is to select that street and try and then what we'll do is we will probably flyer the homes along there with the information about our program and try and get them into the program and stimulate some change.
In that area that you're speaking of,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
these absentee landlords?
We don't have any idea if they're absentee or not. We just know that and we don't even know, not all of them necessarily are not owner-occupied, because the way that we had to run the statistical analysis was if the address where they had the tax bill sent is the same as the address of the property, we assume that they are living there, and so it's owner-occupied. But say, for example, if you had yours sent to a P.O. box, that would throw it out. So there's a margin of error, but there is with most of that stuff. What we're trying to do is make our very best attempt at trying to target the block specific, and we'll do that by looking at the little purple squares in my office. So I think that'll be helpful.
So is the only way that you give them the information is through flyers?
No, not necessarily. I mean, we'll do articles in the paper, and we'll do our regular ways that we do information. We do articles in the paper. We do articles in the city Parks and Recreation brochure that gets mailed out quarterly, and that goes to every household. We could also even do a postcard mailing if we preferred that over flyers. I just thought flyers might be direct, and since it's one block specifically, or a couple of blocks, I think we're going to be able to do a couple of blocks specifically, that it'd be easier to just walk the block, quite frankly. But we'll see. You know, if we wanted to do more, we could, certainly. And that's how we advertise our regular homeownership program. Not homeownership, I'm sorry, home repair program, is we put it in the quarterly newsletter often. We put articles in the paper. We go to speak. I'm going to the Council on Aging to do a presentation about it. I've been at community events, you know, giving out information. So that those are our common ways, just so you know. And then the last thing that I put money in for was the first-time home buyers program, and I moved that up to 50,000 because we have seen quite an increase in our first-time home buyers. We're almost out of money, and it's just March. So, yeah. So we'll talk about that later, but this is primarily our action plan for this year. If you agree. Yes, sir.
I apologize to everybody had a slight kind of cut on the tile tree hill that nobody was, somebody went to ditch. But, you know, I hope I don't disturb your comments so far, but when I read this, I thought this is beginning very familiar, not just because I've been on the board. And then I realized that people in Germany and England are having the same problem. Do we have more people coming into town? I mean, are we doing just the people that are in town? I'm talking about coming in to live here. There's no, is there employment that's bringing people in, or?
Or is it just a reflection of everything that's happening all over?
Oh, you mean the home ownership increasing
I'm talking about people coming into the area.
into the area?
I mean, you laid out pretty well, I thought, the area and so forth.
Yeah.
when I read through it.
I think our population has stayed primarily level. Actually, the number of households dropped slightly, but the number of people stayed level, which just means more people are in households. So instead of having one-person households, you might be having more families or two-person households. But that is pretty level in terms of the number. What I do think is helping right now is the economy is helping to drive home ownership, which I think is awesome because rents in this city are crazy. I mean, you know, in comparison to other places, just right across the river where I live, rents are not as significant as they are here, over in Kansas City. So,
Okay, I just wondered, is there some way we should get tied into the business side of the city, so if we see if they're gonna open up something or an area, or?
Mostly our funds.
our funds are HUD
Housing.
related, and it's housing and urban development, and we could do urban development if we wanted to.
I'll say that people are gonna develop it if they can, you know, if they've got something to sell or build. But it looks to me like we don't have a lot of people coming in, as new people coming into the area.
Right.
And that's what I was hoping you would say. Because
Yeah.
I said, if we have a flood, we're gonna have a hard time putting, you know, piecemeal the
Right,
ground.
right. Well, at this point, I don't see us having a flood. We've increased, in the last 2 years, we've increased the number of people that we've been helping with our money. Primarily just number of cases that we've taken on. Last year, we did 25 in home repair. I think we had 4 in home ownership. Right now, I've got 17 in home repair, but I've got 7 in home ownership. And it'll probably go higher than that before we're done, on both. Because for home repair, spring is our bigger time, and for home ownership, the same thing. So, I think we're doing okay.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? You've covered quite a bit there, covered everything you wanted to.
I don't have anything else I need to say, except I'd be grateful if you would recommend sending this forward to the commission.
Okay, so the first thing I probably need to do though is to close the public hearing.
Yes.
And seeing there's no one present in the audience, at this time I close the public hearing. And are there any recommendations or discussions on the consolidated or the annual plan? Is there any concerns or anything that anybody's confused about? It is complicated.
It is a little complicated, it is.
And
And-
anytime we change an annual plan, we have to go back and change the consolidated plan.
Yeah, no, you can change the annual plan without changing the consolidated plan. I'm hoping this is the last time we have to do this. We're good for 5 years with the consolidated plan.
So if there are no recommendations or discussions, I need a motion to recommend the consolidated plan, the revised consolidated plan and the annual action plan to be approved and forwarded to the city commission.
I so moved.
Is that clear enough?
Bobby was the first.
I have Bobby down.
Okay,
And second,
I'll do that, I'll second it.
okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consolidated and the annual action plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Brings us down to item number 4, other matters of correspondence.
As I mentioned when I was talking about the consolidated plan and our current year in progress, we are seeing a growth in the homeownership. And I've committed all the funds that we have currently. If those 2 other home ownership things go forward, sometimes they fall through, but if they go forward, then we would technically be out of funds for that. I would like to suggest that we reallocate money from the institutional rehab, which we have not seen action in, to homeownership as needed for the balance of the year. We could do another $20,000 or so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
does everyone on the board understand what Mary's asking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're allowed to shift funds from one pot to the other pot during an annual action plan if the board is so interested, so. All right. We've gotten
Yes.
some good interest in the homeownership this year, and I think it's great. So if there's more people that want to own, yay. Because we're a 50% rental town, so if we can change that number, that'd be nice.
So we need a formal motion to move the funds?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and do one, just to make sure we're,
Okay, you were wanting 20,000?
yes.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to transfer $20,000 from the institutional rehab into our home buyer program for the balance of the year.
Motion.
Okay, I have a motion. Question?
Can I change the slightly? And
Sure.
not make this concrete, not set up, in other words, if you need more later on, we
Uh-huh.
can go back again.
Yes,
This won't be a final for the year.
no,
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
yeah. Let's move 20,000 at this point, and if we need more, we can move
Come
more.
back.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll look at I need to look at the balance and see how much more there is past that, whether we'd want to take it out of that or we'd want to take it out of home repair. Just depends which program's doing better at the time.
Okay, so I have a motion to transfer $20,000 and a second. And a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, I see we had a guest walk in. Are you wishing to address the Community Development Advisory Board?
I am seeking to obtain some of the components of the consolidated plan, some of the documents. This is Ms. Dwyer,
Dwyer.
Jeffrey Washington, he's the
Mm-hmm.
council from the company.
Mm-hmm.
And so today, based on our early conversations, I was able to get a paper.
Mhm.
That's the reason why I didn't name that board open.
Mm-hmm.
And the other item that I would like is the CPP, the Citizens Participation Program.
Okay.
I couldn't find that on your website.
It's not on our website.
It's not.
No.
That would be an assistance to me.
Okay, you can request that at the clerk's office as an open records request.
This is an open forum for community participation as it outlines in those CFRs. It's not a document that I should have to go and, request, through the Kansas Open Records Act. It's, the guidance is clear as to how that should unfold in the consolidated plan.
I've discussed this with the representative, our HUD representative,
Yes.
and he said that our posting it is based on what the city's citizen participation plan calls for. That plan calls for us to post at the library and at our office.
Well, you're
And
probably
the
aware that the
citizens
plan has been,
participation plan is not required to be
the
posted.
plan has been amended now. Are you aware of the new rules that
I
came out?
am totally aware of the
Okay,
new
so
rules.
then that addresses that portion of it that we're discussing now for this open forum.
And which has been
It has been,
amended.
it has been amended.
Yes, it has.
What has been amended?
The citizen participation plan has been
And
amended.
it's amended as of what date? Because that I could not glean from, your website. I saw a draft, which was revised.
Okay. Our open hearing closed.
Open hearing closed. Oh, it's
Several
already closed
items.
for this session? this
Yes.
meeting? Okay. I just
So
need the document.
I will be glad to have you,
Yes, I'm running a little bit
request.
late, so
Yes,
I
you
know
are.
we started at 4
So,
o'clock.
yes.
And I see the abundance of community participation. I don't see anybody, but is there anyone else that I missed between, the 4 o'clock hour and now that came in to participate?
no, sir,
Because that's what community participation is.
I understand that.
When we have a bona fide, plethora of individuals that participate in the community participation plan. You should see a number of participants. I don't see any. I just see one, and I just came in because I'm a little bit
I
late.
thank you for your comments.
Yes.
Art,
I will be drafting some materials.
that's fine.
where-
Thank you for your comments.
Yes, you're most
Thank
welcome.
you.
So does the body,
Thank you
understand
for
my
your
comments?
comments.
I'm addressing the body here.
Yes,
sir.
and our
Community
open
plan,
hearing closed,
okay,
and you may not address the body.
okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. But I do look to.
And you may not address the body. Thank you.
Because you didn't really,
Thank you.
okay, but this is the matter to the
I'll look at
CPC.
someone. Okay.
Sir, in our agenda,
Yes,
our item number 3 was the public hearing for the revised consolidated plan
yes,
and for the
That's
annual
what it
action
was.
plan. And we conducted a proper, open public hearing, and we've closed that section of the meeting now.
right, the open hearing was earlier.
Yes,
Unfortunately, I missed that, so I
No.
do apologize.
I'm sure you understand that it was published, I believe, twice in the paper. It's posted on the door in City Hall when the meeting was.
I'm not disputing that, sir, it's just the manner of the documentation being readily available. I had to actually
I'm
call
asking
Ms.
you
Wire
to
in
please-
order to obtain the
Well,
documentation.
sir, our assistant city manager is here, and if you would like to meet with him,
Oh, sure.
He
I'm
could
most
probably
happy
deal-
to.
My guess.
Right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. We'll be in touch, Ms. Garner.
All right. So, we're done with the,
number 4.
yes,
So if there are no more comments from the board, we're ready to adjourn.
we are.
Is all in favor of adjourning? May leave the room.
Thank you.
And
Next month, I think we will also have a meeting, we will have a work session at that time,
Okay.
okay? So